Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of Startup Parable. As you all know by now, Startup Parable is an initiative by Microimage together with ReadMe, the leading tech magazine in Sri Lanka. Startup Parable was started not only to inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs but also to bring all these innovative startups into limelight. Now today we are going to kick off our first 2016 episode with a very hot startup. This is a startup which got lots of limelight recently. They were all over the media. Not only that, they've been able to get investor confidence and raise significant amount of capital as a startup. Today, we are going to listen to the story of PickMe. However, I must say, the man behind PickMe is not someone new to the scene. I would say he's a seasoned entrepreneur. So before I talk about PickMe or introduce PickMe, I would like to first welcome Jeffrey Sulphur, CEO of PickMe, to the program.
Thank you, Harshas.
Sulphur, welcome to the program. Now, I know at least you for more than a decade, I would say.
Yeah, I think so.
I would like to first ask you, how did you end up as an entrepreneur? Please share a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey to date.
Sure. Firstly, thank you for coming over, Harsha. We're grateful to have you here and the ReadMe team. I think entrepreneurship is a journey. It's not something that comes out of people. It's not a talent. You build it up. So my entrepreneurship journey started while I was in school. In fact, I first started by working for a company, that involves putting up mail servers and setting up websites, web servers, etc. But then when I sort of left that company, I went on to do that on my own. So that's when it all really started. And then opportunities came knocking at me, and I kept doing that. So while I was doing my A-levels, I had clients on board. I actually serviced a few clients. And then when I finished A-levels, I just started a company at that time.
So was that the Z Labs?
Yes. The company initially was Z Labs. Yes.
Right. So that was your first venture?
That was my first venture.
So since then, I believe you have got involved in series of ventures, some exciting ventures which raised significant amount of capital and which you did one exit as well.
Yes.
Share some of these journeys and we would like to know what was the most exciting journey?
Sure. Yeah.
So far.
Right. Okay. So I think the excitement has always kept increasing. So my first journey was with Z Labs. Z Labs, we initially started by doing a peer-to-peer technology. That was the days of Napster and Nutella. We wanted to build a platform for peer-to-peer communication, for trade. That was early 2000, and then the whole dot-com bust happened. We in fact had a term sheet that we signed, and we never got funding. So that was very unfortunate. But then we had to still continue the business. So hence we went into setting up web servers for companies, mail servers, websites, domain registrations, things like that. Then we spinned off another company called LK Space, which was pretty much the hosting solutions. So that continued. And then, years went by, nothing was moving. The world was recovering from the dot-com bust. So I decided, I need to move out. So then I had an opportunity with Microsoft. I thought that was a great exposure for me. I went and joined Microsoft for about 1.5 years, and then I left that organization. And in that time, I was looking out for new opportunities.
I must interrupt in that space. How did you find the mindset to work in another company? Because you have been running your own companies.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was a good experience for me because I was looking for something dynamic to work for. At that time, the opportunity at that time was only was Microsoft at that time. So I took that opportunity and went in there. I learned a lot of things because I've never worked in a corporate organization. So by going there, I sort of understood how corporates work. Working for an American company was actually very fruitful. So that gave me some sort of a corporate structure to my career.
Right.
And that's how I went about there.
Then after leaving Microsoft?
Yeah. So after leaving Microsoft, I had this crazy idea of starting a matrimony company. And I did, and I was very fortunate to find some nice.
I believe you were single at that time.
I was single at that time. That's right. So I started this matrimony company online, and then I got. I had a few very good, helpful people. It's a women-driven organization, but I was the only man. Lucky me.
Mm-hmm.
So the organization was basically trying to put people together,
right.
And I think there was a big need for that in our community. So we were, it was also very successful because it was providing a service to the people of Sri Lanka and also people outside Sri Lanka, because we found out after we started the company, there's a lot of Sri Lankans living abroad that really cannot connect to the Sri Lankans in the country.
Right.
So we were providing that service. And then, so that went along, and then I had, then the e-commerce boom came about. I met Riza for a cup of coffee, and then he came up with this idea and said, let's go and do this. And that's how we went about starting Anything.lk at that time.
The daily deal business.
The daily deal business.
So you basically pioneered the daily deal
Yes,
business.
we pioneered the daily deal business, and that turned out to be a different, a brand new journey.
Right.
And then it was just fantastic
Then
at that time.
Sold out to.
Yes, the business was sold out to, you all know, Dialogue, and then we vested our equity, and then we moved out.
Then you started playing a corporate role there as well, or you decided to, now it's high time that I move on and do something else?
Yeah, I think you come to a time when you need to move on, and I think so I decided, I think enough is enough. I did 3 years there and decided to leave that organization.
So if I may ask, what was the most interesting thing that you have learned thus far up to that point?
Yeah.
Working in different ventures. What was the key thing that you learned, which probably you picked up? Okay, these are the few things that I need to pick up when I start the next venture.
I think
What were some of the key learnings?
Yeah, I think for me it was about observing, listening to people, understanding what they do. I learned a lot by looking at people, observing their actions, what they say and all that. I don't talk a lot, I listen. So that would be my strength, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your new venture. How did this idea came about? I mean, people will say this is a pure copycat of the global phenomena, the Uber.
Of course.
But if you really look at the market, you guys are the first to come up with something really worked in the local scenario. How did you lay the seeds for this initiative?
Yeah, the inspiration came from Uber. I shouldn't get away from that. I think Uber was getting a lot of traction, and I saw that app work in around 2011. I thought I'd figure out how this can be put in together. I experienced Uber in around 2013, and then I realized, wow, this is a great product. How do we get this in Sri Lanka? That was the first thing that hit my mind.
Right.
I think. The technology
but I must interrupt and tell you, a lot of people wanted to do this. I know a few telcos wanted to do it.
Right.
So many other organizations, individuals wanted to eye on this particular area.
Yeah.
How did you really crack this? How did you really thought this through, the whole process, and make a successful app out of the market?
Exactly. I was very fortunate. I think that's where it all falls down to. I got a fantastic team on board, a team that can actually perform.
How did you find that team?
These were friends I met over my lifetime. I knew most of the people, most of the top management people. I knew them for some time,
right.
And that's how they came on board.
Right.
So it's just tapping on those contacts and saying, there's this great idea. Would you like to join us and get this off the ground?
How many of them you convinced?
So initially it was Ghazali and Fatih, getting them on board, and then tapping on other people that I knew.
What were the initial thinking process behind getting the app thing right to suit our local environment? Because our dynamics are quite different.
Yeah.
We have a very large tuk-tuk population.
Sure.
Then we have the nano cabs. Then we have the taxi networks.
Yeah.
Then we have the high-end market.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah.
So how did you really look at the whole market scenario
Yeah.
from a local context?
Yeah. So when we got into the industry, we didn't know what we were getting into. But we realized the industry had a lot of issues. issues such as income. Some of the taxi drivers in our country don't make that threshold that they need to.
Taxi drivers or the tuk-tuk drivers?
So I consider everyone a taxi driver.
Right.
Yeah. So let's put it as tuk-tuk drivers. Even the tuk-tuk drivers didn't meet the threshold.
Right.
So they had to meet. They were going through a lot of difficulty. Some of them had to work 24 hours a day. So that was a big eye opener for us. And then when we came up with this technology, we realized how much we can help them, right? More than a business for us now, it's more of helping these people out, right? We had fantastic stories coming through our doors. People saying, since they joined the PickMe family, it has helped their income grow, and it has helped them to pay their leases. That makes us run further. That makes us do better things for them. I think that's the inspiration we have actually.
So you somewhat has a sort of a social cause,
of course,
aligned to your
aligned to it,
right now.
and that's what we are trying to do. We want to upgrade all the taxi drivers' lives. Remember, Harsha, a taxi driver can actually define our country, right? And when a tourist comes to our country, the first person he's going to speak is a taxi driver.
Right.
And if this guy screws up,
yes,
our country is screwed up.
That's right.
So we want to make sure we train these people and so that they can give the right impression about our country. We have a beautiful country. We need to give that message across. So I think, I hope the government helps us,
right,
so that we can actually train these people and ensure that they are able to communicate properly to the consumers that use the taxis.
So slightly deviating from what I've been asking, when you set up this, how did you find your initial capital? Is it your own money you bet on this, or?
Yes, it was my own money. I put a little bit of my cash in and try to get the prototype up.
Right.
And once we had the prototype up, it was just about going to the investors and saying, we have something like this, we'd like to get this going.
Right. How did you pilot it? What was your pilot size initially?
It was very small, 5 3-wheel drivers
right,
going around the city, and we just hailing them back again,
Right.
Yeah.
So just to prove the concept.
Yeah.
You went for a sort of a initial seed round.
Exactly. We just went out, raised our seed round. I think we were fortunate enough to get some great investors on board who understands the business, who understands the model.
Right.
And that's how we went about doing
right.
it.
Can you share a little bit about how you did the valuation and what sort of pitch you did for the second round?
Yeah, happy to. I think the most important thing about valuation is trying to be able to convince your investors what your company can be valued at a certain time. Investors, when they come on board, they obviously want to know how much they can take back, right? So, for example, if they invest ₹1 million, can you promise them 10 million rupees back, right? If you can promise them that, then you can come up with a valuation of of that multiple. Maybe it's 3x or 4x. I think you need to be convincing enough to convince investors that this is what your business is going to be valued at a certain time.
How hard it was? Was it a very hard journey, or how did you find these investor community? How did you reach out to them? Was your previous network linkages mattered, or how did that all came about?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't have any of my previous investors in our previous business coming into this venture, but it was all contacts. Right. I was fortunate enough to close the investment round very fast, because then we could have been a little bit more slower. We got the investment round closed, and we quickly made sure our business started to
right,
roll up.
So with the second round, how much you've been able to raise?
Yeah, we raised about 100 million.
100 million on a valuation of
750 million.
750 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's how we went about on our second raise.
Right. So are you planning to?
Yes, we are. Round? We are hoping to do that very soon.
Right.
Yeah.
Let us talk a bit about the business. How many drivers are on board on the system now? So
we have about 3,000 plus drivers, and we're onboarding them as we talk. There's a training happening right now.
Right. What's the process involved? How many people you enroll per day, and how after that, what's the process? Do you need to go through a rigorous training exercise?
Yeah, we take them through a screening process. We we make sure that all our drivers have a police report, either a police report or a Grama Seva letter. We ask for a billing proof. We ask for their driving license, insurance, all necessary documents that requires them to drive on our roads. So we ask for all that. And then we take them through a training process. It's generally a 6-hour training process, which we make sure that we teach them on etiquette, rules of the road, and how the taxi trade should work.
So you have a separate team taking care of
Yes.
daily training going on.
Exactly.
From tuk-tuk drivers to cab drivers, you have differentiated training, or is it one standard training?
Right now, it just all happens at once. I think, we don't want to differentiate these drivers. I think they all need to be as one community.
No, not as driver, based on what they drive.
What they drive? No, we do it all together so that a tuk-tuk driver can inspire to drive a car one day.
Right.
So hence we want to do this together.
So Sulfa, you are in the business of digital transformation of the city transportation.
Yes.
How much emphasis you put for technology in this whole thing? What sort of technology vision you have for PickMe?
I think we're essentially a platform. So we want to make sure the platform is powerful and we can provide a lot of services on top of this platform. So technology is big here. We want to make sure that we bring the best talent to this company and ensure that we build this platform that could serve this country. So hence our technology is localized for Sri Lanka.
Right.
And we want to make sure that we provide a solution for the Sri Lankan transport problem.
You got a big competitor now.
Yes.
The role model for you, I would say, is here. Now they have a huge tech team. They bet big on technology. They have even recruited a large number of data scientists recently.
Right.
Now, compared to a platform of that nature, how do you differentiate yourself in terms of technology? What are some of the salient, unique features that you have in PickMe platform compared to a global platform like Uber?
So our technology is localized. It's built by Sri Lankans. So we understand the Sri Lankan problem. For example, last month we launched our app in Sinhala and Tamil. So what we will do is keep localizing it and providing a local solution.
Did they have an impact on the usage numbers?
Of course.
Registration numbers?
Of course. Sinhala is there's a lot of Sri Lankans who don't speak English, right? And we want to enable them as well. This technology is for everyone in this country. So then there's a huge Tamil population who don't speak English or Sinhala. So we want to address that problem as well. So the platform is designed to suit the local scenario. And of course, as we move along, we will make sure that we look into the customers' needs in this country and try to come up with solutions for that.
Right. So one of the conveniences that you get in Uber is basically cashless.
Yes.
What is your challenge right now to solve this problem? Because I know that still PickMe doesn't support credit cards.
Yeah. We're almost there, Harsha. We're just trying to put this together. It's a technology that we've been working since the day we started. And I think the regulatory bodies and the financial institutions have understood the need for that kind of technology. So hence we are almost there now. So we should probably have that out by next month.
Right. Okay. Recently we saw Uber launching another low-cost option called Uber Go. Do you think that will have a threat to your business in certain segments?
I think competition is good. I think competition is going to be good for our drivers. So yes, in a business sense, it's competition, but in terms of helping the community and all that, it's actually very good. I think competition like this is certainly going to help our drivers.
Right.
And I'm sure in the next 6 months, the whole industry is going to change. We will see our drivers growing up in their lifestyles as well, livelihoods as well. Yeah.
So Sri Lanka is a small market if you really look at from other bigger regional neighbors. What do you think? How many competitors can exist in this market, in this particular business?
Yeah,
I know you look upon to Uber as your main role model and probably the key competitor.
Yeah.
And then there are lots of other competition mushrooming.
Yeah.
How do you see the whole business, whole this digital transformation of transportation business
Sure.
taking place in all the cities in Sri Lanka?
Yeah. I would like to think we are the only player here, but that's not going to happen. I don't know. I think the markets are going to define. We are a small country. Now, if you take China, there's only one local player and an international player. If you take India, there's one local player and another international one. So Sri Lanka is small. So I would think the same, but let's see how it goes in the next probably few months.
So I believe you have a bigger purpose and a vision than taking someone from point A to point B, transforming cities and so forth. Do you like to share that bigger purpose and vision that you live by every day?
Yeah. I think when I looked at this model, I think it's convenience for everyone. I don't own a car. In fact, I travel on PickMe. I in fact borrow my wife's car and
actually, frankly speaking, after PickMe and Uber coming to Pick, I've given up my idea of buying a second car too.
Oh, great!
No need.
Yes,
I use some of these stuff most of the time now.
Fantastic.
Super convenient.
Yeah, super convenient. I think the vision for us is to make sure that we have vehicles available for everyone. I think what we would like to see is people not bothering about taking cars out. You by not taking your car, you're helping the traffic in Colombo.
Exactly.
What we'd like to see is people hailing taxis and we want to make it very convenient so that when you want to go to work, you hail a taxi and it's available for you outside your door and you just hop on it and then go to work. And then you don't have to worry about driving. You sit behind, maybe do some productive work. You can catch up on work, etc. And by doing that, you also help in the taxi industry. This is what we've seen is that as more and more people use taxis, not just that you're saving money or the opportunity cost, but you're helping another man out there, right? Because that guy who's driving for you is dependent on this industry. He needs to pay his lease. He needs to feed his family, and I think the economics work very well because you are helping another person.
So, what is the single most biggest challenge you face while building PickMe so far? What was the biggest challenge?
So we had a lot of our team.
Single most biggest challenge.
That's a tough one. I think there were so many roadblocks on the way. We had hardware issues. We had device issues. We had a lot of learnings to do. So I can't really pinpoint one right now, Harsha, but there were many. There were many, and I think there'll be many more coming forward as well.
With that, I would like to ask you, what keeps you going every day? What inspires you every day when you wake up?
Yeah, the inspiration is our drivers. Is our drivers and our passengers. They keep giving us feedback, and I urge everyone to give us feedback because that only allows us to improve ourselves. That's the most single inspiration. During some evenings, I drive and I actually take some passengers, and I quietly ask them, what do you think about the service? And they have some nice things to say, and that inspires me to do further, for us as a team to move forward with this technology.
What are some of your future plans as you scale the company? Are you planning to take this to other cities? What are your plans for that?
Oh, we would love to, but we still want to focus in Colombo. I think Colombo is a huge opportunity. It's a commercial hub of this country. We want to make sure we dominate this place, and then we'll probably move out to other areas.
So Sulfa, as a leading professional and entrepreneur who has been in the industry for so long, what is the message that you would like to give to any aspiring entrepreneur out there?
Okay, so Harsha, I think we would invite all young entrepreneurs to come and work for us. That's the advice I would like to give them. But this is a great time for entrepreneurship.
Any particular reason that you are inviting all the people to come and join PickMe?
Yeah, we have a long journey ahead of us.
Yeah, what can they learn? Actually?
Oh, they can learn a lot of things. I think what we are promising everyone who works here is an entrepreneurship journey. How startups work, how they operate, so that everyone understands what it is to work for a startup. It's a great journey. It's a roller coaster ride. and it just gets better. And if anyone wants to be part of a startup or be an entrepreneur one day, you need to get that experience as soon as you can, right? I've been fortunate enough to be part of a lot of startups, and I think anyone who wants to really own and run a business or a team, perhaps, they need to experience it soon, because by waiting, you're not really getting that experience, so that your learning curve is much less. And this is a great time, isn't it, Harsha?
Yes.
There was a big dot-com boom in 2000.
This is the era of digital transformation.
Exactly.
Every business is digitally disrupted, so this is a great time.
Exactly. This is a fantastic time, and if you want to do something, you better do it now, because you don't want to miss out on this opportunity. Harsha, you and I, we've lived in the 2000. We've seen the dot-com bust. And I think it's just got better now. It's a different revolution. The fundamentals are much better. And I think business can really take off now.
Thank you very much, Zulfa. With that, we would like to conclude our inaugural 2016 episode of Startup Parable. We would like to wish PickMe team all the very best in their journey to transform our cities' transportation to another level. Thank you very much. We would like to see you again with another exciting episode of Startup Parable.